They are the faces and names of U.S. war dead in America's longest wars. Over 6,500 servicemen and women who perished in Iraq and Afghanistan since September 11, 2001. They are the heart of Always Lost, a meditation on war, a nationally touring art exhibition that compels viewers to contemplate the cost of war, costs that can never be measured in dollars. Pulitzer Prize-winning Iraq War combat photographs on loan from the Dallas Morning News are accompanied by observations about the nature of war, from witnesses ranging from ancient philosophers to modern generals. This powerful exhibition began as a creative writing project at Western Nevada College in Carson City. Poetry and prose by students tell stories of personal and collective sacrifice. Teresa Breeden writes from her heart as a mother.
Listen, these soldiers were all children once. Smooth faces, fat thighs, sleep so complete anxious mothers listened cribside. They stood in that first pair of shoes, released supports, leaned into the wind of unknowing, wobbled that first step toward war.
An observation by a professor at the college became the inspiration for Always Lost.
After seeing in 2008 the 4,000 faces published in the New York Times as the roster of the dead, excuse me, I concluded that the Iraq War perhaps was the most impersonal war Americans had ever fought.
Professor Don Carlson took his idea to creative writing professor Marilee Swerzik.
It was a very interesting conversation because they were a little hesitant to deal with the theme of war and conflict for an entire semester. It was a very diverse class. We had, once they understood that we would try to take the artist's view of these conflicts and rise above politics to truth, they signed on, and then that was the most remarkable semester I have ever experienced.
For one of those students, what began as a class assignment became a life-changing experience.
It was very different. There was an immediate sense of just the collaboration between all of us, the commonality of this purpose. We all rose above any sort of personal objection or political aspiration or anything like that, and it just was pure. The intention behind everything was very pure. We supported each other. It was difficult walking into that classroom every Wednesday night, and just the thought and the emotion behind everything that we were creating together. There was something about that creative process that propelled us all to continue.
Amy Roby's words combine with powerful images to bring Operations Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom home.
I want to be the fire that incinerates nightmares into rubble, reduces them to powdery ash.
Yet you tell me there's something to be said for remembering, that only the dead
have seen the end of war.
Retired Marine Major and former student Kevin Burns chose the title of the exhibition from a quote by American writer Gertrude Stein.
Many things. She wrote on war, and this quote comes out of one of those writings that war is never fatal, but always lost, always lost.
Major Burns spearheaded the creation of the Wall of the Dead with a purpose in mind.
One of the things that we did, and I made a conscious decision to do it, was to not put them in any kind of alphabetical order or chronological order for when they died. They are all mixed together because war is not some nice parade ground where everyone marches on in perfect formation.
As casualties continue to mount, the Wall of the Dead continues to grow. Students selected individuals from the Wall of the Dead and wrote elegies in their honor. Josh Galarza felt a connection to Sergeant Andrew C. Perkins.
Your name is Sergeant Andrew C. Perkins, and you're not alive anymore. But you have power in your death, Andrew. You're mythic, above judgment or reproach. You're a role model, a hero. You make me wish I'd accomplished something in my 27 years worth weeping over. You've got me, and you're not letting go. You're putting down roots in some corner of my mind, residing and remembered there for all the years the straw I drew gives me.
The exhibition also reminds us, through profiles of Western Nevada College student veterans, that tens of thousands of men and women are returning home from service in Iraq and Afghanistan. Iraq War veteran Caleb Cage sees Always Lost as a memorial that speaks to his generation.
Always Lost represents the individual soldiers who have died. It does it in a way that speaks to this generation visually, graphically, and it really, and from its very, very early stages, has spoken to the divide between the American public and the soldiers, service members who have fought in these most recent wars.
Since fall 2010, Always Lost has been bringing its message of awareness and unity to communities across our nation. Professor Swerzik was recognized with a Medal of Honor for her stewardship of the exhibition by the Daughters of the American Revolution, John C. Fremont chapter. Brandeis University resident scholar Dr. Marguerite Bovard considers Always Lost to be a vehicle for healing in her book, The Invisible Wounds of War, Coming Home from Iraq and Afghanistan. United States Senators Harry Reid and Dean Heller invited the exhibition to Washington, D.C., noting the critical link between free expression and our American heritage. One of the most poignant parts of Always Lost is the story of Army Specialist Noah Pierce, who served 2 tours in Iraq, returned home to Minnesota, and took his own life. After his death, his mother found poems that Pierce had written about his combat experiences. Specialist Pierce is one of thousands of veteran suicides. It's estimated that every day, 22 U.S. veterans end their own lives. In the end, the guest book tells the story of Always Lost, a meditation on war. Veterans from World War II the Korean conflict, the Vietnam War, Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm, and Operations Iraqi and Enduring Freedom leave their messages in its pages. But mostly, civilians and veterans alike simply say thank you for what one viewer called a national treasure. For an idea to make America's wars personal, an idea that began at a small college in a small American town and evolved into a sacred space to consider the effects of war on each of us.